This is not a review of my Guildford Slimline. It's certainly not a review of my Swiss Army knife. It is, in fact, a partial dissection that I thought I'd share with you because I had to modify one of my filofaxes out of necessity. So here we go. This, as I said, is my Filofax Slimline, and you'll notice that I am using it upside down. The reason for that is because I prefer the pen on the right hand side, the pen loop on the right hand side, and I don't use the pockets on this particular Filofax. Apart from, I do find the full length pocket on what is normally the right, but in my case the left. I do find that useful for spare paper or receipts or whatever. I sometimes take this out, not very often, but it's a working tool for me. So, and it's actually a really, really nice Filofax, one of my favourites. It's got some fantastic leather. But the reason I'm dissecting this today is, let me give you a bit of a background. This is what happens when you take a paintbrush to the sort of leather surface of the inside of the Filofax. It just comes off in flakes. It's an ultra thin layer that literally just wafts away. You've only got to wet your Filofax and scrub it with a paintbrush, a stiff paintbrush, and this black leather or leather look surface just flakes away, and so you get this material. I only found out that by accident because it was cracking and flaking, and it just got to the point where I thought, well, I don't really want to throw it away. And just out of curiosity, I started scrubbing, and it came off, and it's come up with this. I've deliberately left this side a bit grubby, and this is the actual remnants of the glue surface. And I know, because I've worked on the other side far more vociferously, that this will gradually come off. But just for the purposes of demonstration, I let this dry, and you can see that there is still an element of glue left after a bit of a quick brush with the stiff paintbrush. However, the important thing today is what I have done on the other side, which is normally the front, but in this case I'm using it as the back. So if I turn over, and that is the normal situation with the Guildford Slimline. You've got these pockets and slots on the front, which, as if by magic, I have just cut and removed the pocket. And you can see here that this material, this man-made sort of fabric material, covers the whole of it lines the whole of the Filofax on this side. And you can see where I've scrubbed it the most. It comes up, actually, it's actually surprisingly nice. A little bit of glue left there, but it's a working tool. I'm really not bothered about what it looks like. But why did I cut this out? Well, for the simple reason that when I use it, and bear in mind I use it upside down because I want the pen loop on the right hand side, I don't want to lean on these. There's a ridge here. These are all right. These are quite flat, but on here there's a substantial ridge, and even with a piece of cardboard here, you can still feel it. So it was annoying me. It's not ideal, especially since I don't use the features of the Guildford Slimline. I don't put cards in here. So I thought, I'm going to use this opportunity to show you how, at least in this example, they are made. If we turn this over, so I feel like a Blue Peter presenter here. But anyway, so you've got some really, really nice, what I think is really, really nice leather. It replicates the leather on the actual outside of the binder, it's pretty damn close. I'm not sure whether they are the same, but it feels the same. Very nice, supple, thin but durable leather. It is durable. So let's see what we've got under here. So we have there's a lot of nylon man-made. I don't know what it is, but it's a man-made fabric. And underneath the you can see that the leather is glued. If I can peel it, you can see as I'm peeling it, you can see that it has been applied with probably some glue that's been applied with some sort of brush and then stuck on. It may have been sprayed, but let's say it might have been stuck on with a brush. And then it has been folded over the leather. You can tell how thin the layer is, but the top layer of leather has been just folded over and neatly stitched, which is fine. And then we have some leather here. As we all know, these carved slots don't overlap. They're cut in a specific slot so that they lie flush with each other, which is a good idea. But you do have this double thickness of the leather with the lining, and then that is sitting on top of another piece of leather with the lining underneath. And so you do get this how am I going to show this? Well, you've got this ridge, and it's a really pronounced multi-layered ridge, and I don't like to lean on it, so that's why I've removed it. But anyway, what have we got underneath this liner? Well, this is interesting in a sort of nerdy way. This piece of material has actually been applied after the pockets. Now, each of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each of these 5 pockets are effectively, let's peel these off, which are all glued together. They are a double folded piece of material that is actually neatly attached to each slot to form a sort of envelope for cards, presumably cards. But the way they've applied them is not with any form of stitching, but just with, if we take these off completely, you can see that there is a thin piece of double-sided tape. It's still sticky. So each piece has a double-sided piece of tape to the back and a double-sided piece of tape to the front, and that gives you the uniform pocket depth, so that your cards don't disappear into the slot and never to return. So these are it's all seems to be the same material, but these are stuck. They are aligned using double-sided sticky tape to each slot, and then they are in themselves glued together. So there we go. There's one. There's two. Let's keep on going. So here we go. There's another one here, and that is again stuck. Okay, so we've got some sticky tape, double-sided sticky tape again and again. Let's go the whole hog, shall we? And take them all off. So all the way down. So you've got this sticky tape. So there we go. And then once that is done, what they've done is they've got some more material, a bigger piece of material. And then it looks like what they've done is they've put a piece of double-sided tape all the way around to hold it in place. So then they've stuck stuck it down and then folded over the leather material on the top here, and then they've stitched it so that there's some double-sided tape holding it in place before they do the final stitching. And to be honest, it's certainly very, very neat and tidy to the eye when it's actually in the let's turn it over. Crikey. As we know, it all looks lovely and neat and tidy when it's actually in the Filofax itself, but underneath it is what the eye doesn't see, as it were. So anyway, that is how they, on certainly this part of the Filofax, that is how they manufacture this particular Filofax. That's how they manufactured it. It's no longer made. So I thought you'd be interested in that, and that's all I have to say on this matter. But there we go, a partial dissection of my Filofax Guildford Extra, no, not an extra slim, Filofax Slimline. And having no pockets here means that when I write, and doesn't matter how many layers, you can feel it even with potentially 100 sheets of paper, you can still feel that awkward ridge, and so I dispense with that. And so it is it's nice and smooth that way, and okay, there is a ridge here, but it's nowhere near as pronounced, and so I can, I'm being careful to hide my personal data here, but you get the picture. It just makes it a working tool as a binder, if you like, that I can easily put in my jacket pocket or my rucksack, and I like it. I think it's one of the best ever made, despite the fact that I have now really butchered this Filofax. I actually like it, but essentially that is a partial dissection that I wanted to share with you guys. And thank you for watching. There we go.